What's up everybody? My name is Javi. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to share with you guys what my 2021 financial goals are, how I plan to achieve it, as well as a recap of what I did last year and some changes that I plan to make. With that said, I hope you guys enjoy this video and gets you guys thinking about making some financial goals this year if you haven't already. Before jumping into what my 2021 financial goals are, I do want to take a minute and recap what my 2021 financial goals were. So jumping back to December of last year, I was still enrolled in university and did not have a set plan on what my financial goals were. However, I was working part-time on the weekends, and this allowed me to take the minimum amount of student loans that I could and continue to live. Fast forward to May, I graduated from university with a degree in mechanical engineering, but due to the pandemic, I found it really hard to get a job. So from May until August, I was just working part-time at the brewery. But once August came around, I landed a job at an engineering firm. So from August till December, I was working part-time on the weekends as well as full-time throughout the week. And I did not have a set plan throughout those months. However, I knew that I wanted to get into the habit of saving more than I was spending. So this allowed me to save a big chunk of money and start getting into this habit that I now am really good at. And this is going to allow me to actually set myself for success for 2021. So 2020 did not really have a set plan, but it was more of a get into the habit to make these plans work in the future. So with that said, let's jump on the computer and I'm going to show you guys what my Excel sheet is and what my 2021 financial goals are.
Alright everybody, so before we get started, I do want to give a quick breakdown of my Excel spreadsheet. So I decided to break down my investment plan into 4 categories. So we'll see on the left, we have my monthly payments. This is just a expense breakdown of everything that I spend on a month-to-month basis, just giving me a budget to kind of stay under for the month. Next, we have my income earned. That is how much I'm currently making this year in terms of job and part-time job. So that's pretty simple. Then we have my earnings goal. This is a set number that I am setting for myself, and then I have it categorized by different investment avenues and different stuff that I can do to help me reach that goal. And then finally, I have my investment goal, how much I plan on investing and saving, and hopefully a net worth goal by the end of the year due to all that investment and saving. So I decided to break this down into 4 categories just so that at the end of the year, when I'm looking back and seeing everything that I've done in terms of my financial plan, I can see month to month where I could have done better, as well as yearly where I could have done better to help me prepare for the next year. With that said, we can jump into the first category, which is my monthly plan. Alright, so starting off with my monthly payments, I'm going to bring this down. We have Spotify, which is just fixed, the gym that's fixed, gas, that kind of varies on a month-to-month basis. Some months are a little bit less, some months are a little bit more. So I took an average of what I think would be a good gas amount. So that's going to be $120. And now I know some months are going to be a little bit more, so I think it's going to average out to about $120. Next, we have food. That is anything in terms of getting food for a takeout or also buying groceries for myself. So that right now is $80, and I know it's going to seem like a very low amount, but since I'm staying at home right now, I do eat a lot of what my mom cooks, so that is helping me a lot and keeping my expenses low. Next, we have Brady Miscellaneous. That is all the expenses that for my dog. So Brady is my dog's name. So Brady on a month-to-month, usually between food, vaccines, and which obviously vaccines are not every month, but Usually they're about 2 times a year. His trifexes and some toys and balls, anything that he really needs for playing and stuff on a yearly basis. I kind of took a sum of that and just divided it by 12. 55 is a little bit on the lower side, but I think that some months are going to be obviously a lot more, but we'll see at the end of the year if that was a too low of a number, because I do also have to include grooming. He does get 4 grooms a year since he is a golden doodle, so that may jump up to maybe twice what it is right now. So then after that, I have shopping. Shopping is at $150. Yes, that is a high amount, but since some of my other expenses for the most part are really low, right now I am in a position where I can splurge a little bit more and spend on stuff that maybe down the line I will not be able to. Alright, then we have coffee. I am a big coffee guy. I really enjoy having coffee, but I try to limit myself to getting coffee at coffee shops. I do make coffee for myself Monday through Friday, but then Saturday I do get coffee every morning, either at Starbucks or at Krispy Kreme or at Dunkin' Donuts or anywhere else really that I decide to go get coffee. So yeah, which that kind of breaks down to $5 a week. And then Sundays I get coffee at my part-time job. So that is that. Then car repairs and registration. So that's a little bit lower as well. It's $30. For the most part, I do a lot of repairs myself. So it's just buying the repairs that I need and then repairing it myself. So that plus registration. Obviously registration is done once a year, so I take what I paid last year and then divided it by 12, which will probably go down if not stay the same. So that gives me a rough estimate of how much that category is going to be. Alright, next I have health. That is health insurance and any supplements that I take on a monthly basis to better myself. So yeah, that includes protein shakes, all the skincare stuff that I do. Really, that's it. So yeah, that's that category. Then I have phone. That's pretty fixed at $40. Car insurance, that's fixed. Then activities. Activities are just anything that I spend on a month to month to do something fun, such as going snowboarding, going rock climbing, anything in that line of activities that I need to go spend money, such as movies, but also I don't know. But that does not include going out to drink and food. That's in the food category. So yeah, there's that. And then finally I have hair. Just getting haircuts. I usually get a haircut just once a month, so it's $20, and I usually, well, $20 in total, but some months I do get 2 cuts. So yeah, if I divide that by every so often, I don't know, I get 25. It was kind of a random amount, but we'll see. And that's kind of the nice part about this. At the end of the year, when I recap this, I can compare it to this video to see how I stayed in my budget. Alright, so with that all said, my total monthly expense is going to be $961. And we'll see how I stay on a month-to-month basis. I do think that is pretty easy to stay under. I think I can stay really under if I don't shop as much that month and I don't go out and do as many activities that month, which sometimes happen with the amount of work that I'm doing. So we'll see how that happens. So next we're gonna jump into income earned. Alright, so income earned. So I divided this into 2 parts: how much I'm making pre-tax and post-tax. So for my main job as an engineer, I'm making $58,000 right now. This is my first year, obviously, so I know it's a little bit under, and hopefully this will grow in time. But nonetheless, I'm making $58,000 as an engineer, and then with my part-time job, I'm making $7,200. So the $7,200 is more of a variable because that depends on how many hours I'm working on those weekends, and then also the tips that we're making. We make pretty much all of our money off of tips, and like right now our tips are really low. But come spring, summer, fall, our tips jump up the roof, and with that, so do our hours. So I think that's where I'm going to be making a big chunk of my money. So $7,200 kind of works out to 10 hours a weekend, which I think is really achievable. Because some weekends on a Saturday, I'm just working 10 hours. So there's that day alone is 10 hours, and then on a Sunday I'll come in and work 5 hours. So that will make up for the weekends that I'm working less. So that number is $7,200, which I think it can be even higher, but we'll see at the end of the year. So that gives me a pre-tax take home of $65,000. After taxes, that's going to be somewhere around the ballpark of $49,764. Obviously that's not an exact number, I don't think. What I did was I just went online and put in my state and obviously single individual. Those are the two things that they really asked me for, and I got that number. So we'll see, maybe it won't be that. If you guys actually know how to calculate that exactly, put that down below, and I'll definitely update that so I can get an exact number. Maybe I have to talk to an accountant about that. But with that, I also broke it down by a monthly basis, because that's really what's going to be looked at. The yearly is cool and all, but the monthly is what's going to be really helpful in terms of investments. So with monthly right now, I'm taking about $4,147 home, but obviously I'm not using all that for investments because I have monthly expenses. So my monthly income minus my expenses is $3,186. Excuse the squeaking, my dog's playing with his toy right now. So that $3,186 is going to be really my funnel for investment this year, which brings me to earnings goal. Let's jump into that. Let's see. So my earnings goal for this year is $74,000, and that is about $10,000 more than what I'm making right now. So how I plan on breaking this down is, obviously, first thing is my engineering job, $5,800 for my engineering job, followed by $7,200 for my part-time job. Now I think this number could potentially help me out, because this can be maybe $10,000 by the end of the year, which will make it a little bit easier to reach this goal, but we'll see. Then I have stocks. I do invest a lot of my money into the stock market, so I think that if I put my money in the right stocks, I can potentially and hopefully realize a profit of $4,000. So that's that. Then next I have real estate. I do plan on investing in real estate properties sometime this year. So that number can actually be zero, or it might be $4,000, or it might be higher. That all depends on when I buy a home, and really just when I buy a home and if I buy a home. Obviously I'm not going to force this, but now that I'm starting to learn more and more, if I can find a realtor that can help me find a home that fits my strategy and the numbers that I'm trying to achieve, then I think that $4,000 goal is a reasonable goal. And when I'm talking $4,000, I'm not just saying cash flow. Obviously I'm talking about appreciation and tax benefits as well, and take mortgage pay down, obviously cash flow as well. So that is $4,000 that I plan on hopefully making this year in real estate. Then finally we have side hustle. This includes really anything that I do this year that can make me $1,000. This can be cleaning cars, which would be really random. This YouTube account, if it grows exponentially this year, then maybe, I don't know, that'd be awesome. That could be one thing. I also do trade option calls and puts, and that's something that I'm going to talk about in a further video. That has been really helpful in the last year and a half that I've been doing this. So I think that maybe that will most likely be the main driving force to gain me that extra $1,000. But it could also be Sorry for my dog. It could also be flipping cars. I've done that through college, and that is something that can make you money really quick if you know what kind of cars to buy in your market. And from my experience, I know my market and I know what cars to buy and what price, and I also have mechanics that fix it at a very affordable price to let me make a good profit off of it. So yeah, those are kind of just some examples of my side hustle, and then this might be completely different. It might be sometime down the line I think of something that kind of clicks and that gets me that $1,000. So with all that said, if I take a sum of that, it's about $74,200, and that obviously is a little ambitious, but maybe sometime in August, when I get my evaluation for my job, maybe my $5,800 turns into 60, 65, I don't know, and that just makes it that much easier to get to my earnings goal. Alright, so now we're at the final part of my 2021 goals, and first thing I have is my net worth goal. So like I said earlier, last year I was able to, between August to December, I was able to save up about $17,000, and then I did have some money saved up from just working throughout college, and that was about $2,000 to $3,000. So total I had about $20,000 saved up. So this year I plan on having I hope to have a net worth goal of $70,000, and that's not all gonna come from saving my money. Obviously, for me to reach this goal, I'm going to have to invest my money wisely to be able to realize some profit to get to that level. Okay, so how I plan to do this is, first I plan on putting a big chunk of money into a regular investment account that's going to let me buy individual stocks, and I plan on putting $6,000 in that account. I'm going to make a separate video on what platform I'm using and what companies and why I'm purchasing this year. So stay tuned for that video. But to keep this simple, I plan on putting $6,000 into this account, and I'm obviously going to be purchasing individual companies that I think are going to be making some gains in the next few years. I don't plan on buying this for the short term. It's actually going to be a long-term play, but I do like the ability to purchase stocks and then being able to sell them whenever. That liquidity can help me out in the future if my investments grow and then I find another investment avenue that can potentially make me more money than where that money is parked at the moment. So that's primarily why I am moving a lot of my money into that kind of account. Alright, so then secondly, I am planning on putting $4,000 into a Roth IRA. This this second strategy is more of a long-term strategy. I'm talking about retirement long, obviously, because if anyone knows about Roth IRAs, you know that if you take your money before, 60, then you get penalized for it. So this is more of a very long-term play, and I worked backwards on it. I realized that if I want to have a portfolio that is worth about $1 million, making 7% return year after year compounded, then I need to start investing $4,000. So I'm going to go more in depth on Roth IRA, how to open them, what ETFs I'm purchasing, and the plan for that in another video. But for now, just know that I plan on putting $4,000 into that. I plan on purchasing very safe ETFs that I can just continue to dump money and then just set it and forget it, and then that's going to be my long term plan, so that hopefully when I'm 65 and when I have other investments that are making me money, then this one can start adding on to it. Alright, next I have my house plan. So this is actually just real estate property. I just called it house. And as you can see, this is where the big sum of my money is going. So in the next year to year and a half, well, this year I'm planning on purchasing my first rental property, but I also need to start saving and adding more money into this saving account so that I can purchase more homes when I find opportunities. So $20,000 is where a big chunk of my money is going to be going to, because I feel like this is the best avenue to make a investment that can help you become financially independent as quick as possible. Now, obviously there's going to be work, but that tied in with stocks and hopefully other investment avenues, it's going to, I think, work its way to financial independence at a quicker rate than if it was just setting it into a Roth IRA that just, and other stock, very very safe stock ETFs that just grow at a 7% return. Finally, I have student loans. Now, student loans is an indirect investment, but this is my biggest chunk of credit that I have. My other kind of credit is, I guess, credit cards, but I pay those on a monthly basis. I purchase everything through my credit card just for the points, and then I pay them at the end of the month. So I really don't have any credit lines. It's just it adds and then it subtracts at the end of the month. It equals out to $0. But for student loans, while I was in college, I took out a total of $15,000 throughout those 4 years. So about 5,000. It was about 15,500. So it was somewhere around $5,000 each year. And by working on the weekends, obviously it let me take a smaller amount, because it actually worked out to $2,500 each semester, which was barely enough. That just allowed me to pay for my apartment, and then the rest was just earned through, everything was just purchased through working. So yeah, so $15,000 in student loans, and I plan on just paying this year $2,500. Obviously, I know that this is a very low amount, but right now with everything going on and student loans having a longer grace period than usual, I don't see a reason to put my money into paying down student loans. I'm better off putting my money into investments that can make me positive money. So, well, just get positive, so that and then once student loan start kicking back and interest starts getting added again, then I will reevaluate this and really start paying down a bigger chunk, because I do plan on paying this off maybe in the next 2 years, but hopefully in the earnings category that goes up, or in the income earned that goes up, and I can start funding more money into my student loans. And like I said, this is like an indirect form of investment, but if you don't have any credit and you don't have to pay on a monthly basis for these credits, then you have more money to put into investments and for yourself, and anywhere you want, really. So it's an indirect form of investment, because you'll just have more money for yourself, really, to do whatever you like. So that is the last one. And if you want to see this on a month-to-month basis, that ends up being $500 in stocks, $333 in my Roth IRA, $1,667 in real estate, and $208 in student loans. Now, obviously, since I said I know it's still in the grace period, this actually is going, those $208 until September might be divided into 3, and I might put a little bit more into stocks, Roth IRA, probably not into homes, so it might be just divided into 2. When September comes around, then I'll actually make up for it and pay $2,500 off for my student loans. Okay, so if I sum all of those investments accounts up, I am investing $32,000 into just all forms of investment and savings. So that on a monthly basis is $2,708. And then in terms of percentage, it is 65% of my take-home pay pre-taxes. So it's a big chunk, and I think it's really aggressive, and I think that this is actually going to allow me to accelerate my financial independence a lot quicker than if you were to take the traditional route of 20%. And I'll make a video on all this in terms of reaching financial independence early, how much is the minimum percentage of your take-home pay, and what's an aggressive amount, what's like a moderately aggressive amount in my opinion. And then I'll put some facts obviously so that you guys can see in some articles so you guys can read, but just some more information on getting into that financial independence journey if that's what you guys want. And obviously if you guys are watching this video, then I think that you guys want to at one point in your life reach that. So there's that, and that finishes my investment goal. Alright, so this wraps up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and got something out of it. If you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. I plan on making more videos just like this, and a follow-up on some of the stuff that I talked about in this video, such as the stocks that I will be purchasing, the individual companies, the Roth IRA, how to open up a Roth IRA, what ETFs I think are good to invest for the long term, as well as taking you guys with me in my real estate journey, what houses I'm looking at, the plan that I plan to follow, the numbers that I'm planning to achieve, how I go about finding a realtor and tenants, and then fixing up a home, all of that. So if you guys want to make sure to see all those videos, please make sure to also hit that notification bell. With that said, I'll see you guys in the next video. See you.